Alright guys, so this video is going to focus on direct variation. So I'll be honest with you guys, when I first learned how to work these kind of problems here, whether it was direct variation, inverse variation, didn't matter. They always confused me a little bit because I just didn't really quite understand what was going on. I needed some kind of concrete, some kind of example that made sense to help me figure out what exactly was going on in these problems. And really the only or the best way that I've kind of come up to figure out, what to compare these to or how to explain these is probably using paychecks. Let's go with that. Because paychecks is something that I think that everybody is familiar with. We are definitely familiar with getting paid. We know that, hey, if we make $10 an hour and we work this many hours, our paycheck should be around this much. Now, when it comes to direct variation examples, so the formula that we typically use in direct variation looks like this. X is equal to K times Y. Now, what this could relate to as far as paychecks are concerned, so again, let's go with the fact that we make $10 an hour. So K in this formula here stands for a constant. The constant would be $10 an hour. We make $10 an hour regardless how many hours we work. So that $10 is going to stay the same. So if I work 15 hours, I know I should make about $150 and so forth. Or, hey, if I need to make $300 this week just to make my bills, how many hours do I need to work in order to make that happen? So those calculations that are going on to figure out those situations there, those are direct variation examples here. Another example that you can think about is pumping gas in your car. Right, so if gas costs $2.05 per gallon, you just put in 10 gallons into your car, how much should you be expected to pay? Or let's just say, hey, I've got 25 bucks towards gas, how many gallons is that going to get me? Right, so those are also direct variation examples. So when it comes to these type of examples here, we're finding that constant, we're finding that rate that this situation has in common, whether it's paychecks, whether it's gas, regardless what it is that we're talking about, we're finding that constant rate and then we're taking that to apply that to different situations. So that's pretty much what a lot of these are about. We have to know what that constant rate is first, and as long as we know what that rate is, we can use it to calculate all sorts of different scenarios. So here we're given this example. X varies directly as Y. What that line tells us, it tells us that we're going to be using the direct variation equation because there's a few different forms of equations when it comes to variation. But direct variation specifically deals with this type of setup right here. I know that's going to be the X equals K times Y. And this gives me an example here. It says if X is 10, when Y is 2, what would X be if Y is 7? So they give us this first situation over here, and that's important. That is where we need to start. They said if X is 10, when Y is 2, go ahead and plug those values in. If X is 10 and Y is 2, what this is going to tell us here is we're going to plug in that 10 for X, we're going to plug in that 2 for Y so that we can calculate and figure out what is K. That way we can then take that K and use it to figure out our other situation. So if X is 10, K is 2, in order to solve for K, all we have to do is divide by 2 on both sides, and we get that K is equal to 5. And we can use the fact that K equals 5. Remember, that represents a constant, something that's just going to stay the same. So if K equals 5 is going to stay the same, let's now calculate it when Y is 7. So I'm going to use the same equation here, X equals K times Y. The only difference now is, hey, I know what K is. K is 5. We just figured out and we solved and we got that K is 5. So now it says, hey, let's figure out what X is when Y is 7. So I'm going to plug in 7 for y now and figure out what my x is going to be. So if k is 5, and now we're being told that y is 7, well, 5 times 7 is 35. So x is 35. So definitely figure out first what kind of variation problem are you working with, direct, inverse, so on. That way you know what equation to start off with. Then always focus on solving for your k, your constant of variation, and then use that to calculate for the information that they gave you.